Hi everybody, it's Marc with MDWebPro back for another Medical Marketing Monday, and today we're going to continue our conversation that we began last week about how many pages does it take to rank in Google and why does the number of pages even matter for a site. If you didn't get a chance to check out that video, look on our YouTube channel, it's up there, you'll see it, or check out our blog, should be in my post from last Monday and you'll be able to get up to speed. But so today we want to just continue on that whole thought process of how many pages does it take to rank well in Google, and do pages correlate with better rankings. And what we found, a quick summary of our last week's video, is when we surveyed the plastic surgery websites across the country in the top 200 major metropolitan areas, we found out that the sites which consistently ranked the best had 409 pages on average, which is considerably higher than the average plastic surgery website. What that means is that those pages in the content is giving those sites more opportunity to rank. They're ranking for more phrases, they're getting more volume, more search traffic volume, and they're also ranking better for some of the highly competitive phrases because Google is seeing more and more throughout all the pages what topic the site is about and what topic the site is an authority on. But it doesn't end there. It's not simply a matter of publishing content. The content also needs to get shared out on the web and linked to. And that's also where more pages gives those sites an upper hand in that, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, what happens when you publish content on the site, if we take a look at our site again, this is a similar site to last week. What we have is a home page with our banner, we have a small box of navigation, and we have all our sub-pages within the site. Every page that we publish, every one of these sub-pages, every time we publish new content targeted towards keywords, strengthening that topic in Google, also gives us an opportunity to share that content out on social media and to share that content out in email. And it provides a visibility for our site and for our content. And that's where links back to the content come into play. And those links, of course, build our own authority of the site. And so what we want to do is now this spring Google has released a number of updates, major updates to the algorithm, and what we're seeing is not just any content ranks quite as well as it used to. It used to be the case where you could buy very cheap content as long as it had the right words in it, the right keywords, and spoke on the right topic. It didn't necessarily have to make sense or have to be great content, and it could still very easily rank in Google. What we're seeing now is Google has gotten a lot smarter at the beginning of this year, and our content has to be a lot better. Our content actually has to be real content that people would want to read, which is good, because we don't want to build sites with cheap content. We want to build sites with engaging content that attracts visitors and converts visitors into leads and leads into patients. So the updates are good. They don't affect a properly run website, but what we saw and what we continue to see is when we look at search volume trends for traffic on a lot of sites that we watch, what we see is a huge spike in search traffic end of 2010, beginning of 2011, and throughout 2011. And what happens is beginning of 2012, we see all the traffic drop off on many sites that we monitor. And what this is right here is where Google started releasing their Panda and Penguin updates. And a lot of these sites dropped from hundreds and thousands of search visits per month down to tens, 20s, and even 0 because they did not have good content. Google wasn't as smart as they are now, and they were not. They could not actually figure out what was good content. Today they have much better signals on figuring out what is good content. One of those signals being social shares. What are other people saying about your content? And where that comes into play is, so as we said, it's one thing to publish the content, but we really need to be engaging our audience with the content, and that's where social media comes in. When you publish a new page of content, you can share it out to Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Google+, all the social networks. It's better to choose only a couple that you can actually be engaged in instead of spreading blasting it out to many and not really adding much value to each. But we want to share the content. We want to be engaged in these social networks, so when we do share it, people remark on our content, they comment on our content, and they're more likely to share our content. And what goes into play there is we want to identify the right people to be engaged with, because there's a lot of people on these social networks who have no authority, they have no influence, they have no clout, or very little authority, influence, or clout. And We want to find the right prospects who have an audience, an engaged audience with themselves, and they have influence with that audience so that they can share our content, build links, and also bring traffic back to our site. And that's where you need to be really strategic in your social media activity. You want to find sites, you want to find social media users who have their own sites, who have clout, influence within the social network, but then they have their own site which has authority and traffic and is on topic with your topic. And those are the people we want to start to network with, engage with on social media, so that when we publish this new content, they're going to notice it and they're going to comment on it, they're going to share it also, and they might even link to it from their blog with a little nudging from us. And that's where the email component comes in. As we build relationships with these other influencers who have other sites, we email with them, and what we end up doing is basically creating more awareness for your content. We're networking with these individuals who have influence, we're building relationships, and we're creating engagement with the right people, the people who have influence and who actually have the power to create a link back to your site. What that does is builds authority. And with that authority, you're going to see more search engine traffic. So content is step number one, but building this authority through strategic networking on the web will build authority back to your site. Now, last year it was also the case where you didn't have to go through this whole process. For years it worked. You could simply go out and buy some links. Google wasn't as smart as they were. It almost seemed like they didn't care if people were buying links. Another thing that happened this spring is you'll see this drop off in traffic, and it's directly related to sites that were buying links. They weren't getting genuine editorial links that were built through this relationship. They were simply opening the checkbook and buying links that didn't provide users much value. And what we see with those sites also is, as Google got smarter, their traffic dropped off and has become almost nothing in many cases. And so we call those spammy links. They're paid links. They're against Google's terms of service, terms of use. They're not illegal to do, but as Google has shown here, they'll penalize sites that do them. So you want to make sure that whoever's working on your site is not buying links for you, because it will actually end up hurting your site, hurting your rankings. If Google hasn't caught on to it yet, they're likely going to. They're getting very smart in regards to this. And we also want to make sure that we're writing good quality, engaging content targeted towards our audience. That's our key to building this audience, is then we want to create content that's targeted towards this audience so that they want to read it, they want to engage with it, they want to interact with it, and they want to bring traffic back to our site around that content. Long gone are the days when you can just have anyone read an article, rewrite, put it in their own words, and publish it out on your site. Google's not going to give you a whole lot of credit for that article. You won't get the long-tail rankings that you used to get, as they get smarter, things become more difficult, but really it leads to a better web. We don't want a web filled with a lot of unengaging content. We want a web filled with interesting and informative ideas, and that's what sparks and motivates this whole process. Well, I hope that was educational for you. I just wanted to give a little insight into the changes that have happened this spring through Google and through the summer, and help you understand what it takes to succeed with your website. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.